action-packed match day 8 of La Liga. Eden Hazard scores his first goal for Real Madrid. Messi is back with a bang. Atletico struggles in front of goal. And we have our first coach sacked in La Liga. Let's talk about it. It was first against the second. Real Madrid against Granada. Real Madrid managing to win 4-2 in the end. But again, it wasn't easy. The same story as it's been for a while now in the Bernabeu. You can really divide this game into positives and negatives. To start with the positives, Fede Valverde in the midfield had an amazing performance. It seems like he's the kind of midfielder that brings balance to the Blanco center of the field. He goes up and down the pitch. He puts an enormous shift defensively, but he's also able to be that creative midfielder and find Benzema and Bale and Hazard in front of him with intricate passing. And that was probably Real Madrid's best first half of the season. Very fluid football. They scored right away in the second minute through Karim Benzema, his 6th goal of the season. They were really aggressive. They played with a lot of flair. Eden Hazard getting his first goal in front of the Bernabeu crowd, and what a goal it was. Cheeky lob over the keeper. Possibly that will be the confidence boost that the Belgian needs, and he will start to deliver more consistently, something that the fans at the Bernabeu expect from a number 7 like him. Bale as well, solid on the right hand side. He was interchanging with Odriozola. It was a bit of a surprise that he started at right back and Carvajal was on the left, but it seemed to work. Carvajal as well, linking up really well with Hazard. Carvajal himself had a few chances but didn't manage to score. And in the second half, Modric, who came on for Kroos with a hell of a shot from outside the box to make it 3-0. And it seemed like Real Madrid is going to finally have a comfortable lead, a comfortable win. But as it's happened many times this season, they allow their opponents to come back into the game. Granada did that through a mistake from Areola, the keeper who started well his Real Madrid career, but shows that he does have a mistake in him. He took too long on the ball, he hesitated and provoked a penalty, a really silly penalty at a time in the game where Real Madrid was beginning to look like they're going to take 3 points home. Machis converted the penalty, and you could hear at the Bernabeu from that point on, it was all about the away fans and the away team cheering on their team to a comeback. They were second in the table before this game for a reason. They managed to score another goal from the new signing Duarte, and it was really nervy in the next few minutes. But James Rodriguez, with his first goal in about 2.5 years, managed to kill off the game. It meant a lot for the Colombian. He ripped off his shirt. The Bernabeu cheered him on, and it was all happy. And Barca with another home win, this time against Sevilla, 4-0. But the scoreline is not telling the whole story. It wasn't as easy for Blaugranas. Sevilla started really well at the Camp Nou, and they managed to create a few chances. And if they were more clinical, they could have taken the lead in that game, and the outcome could have been totally different. But they didn't, and it underlies again the problem for Sevilla that keeps persisting. Luke de Jong, the striker they signed this summer, is not prolific enough. They are going to struggle to score goals if something doesn't change soon. What a goal by Luis Suarez. He seems to be scoring amazing goals. After midweek in the Champions League, he had sort of a volley outside the box. Now a bicycle kick with his left foot. Really acrobatic in the box. And the Uruguayan picking up right where he left off last season after winning the Pichichi. 4 goals in La Liga, and looks like he's going to keep scoring. Vidal and Dembele made it 3-0, and Barcelona was cruising at this point. In the second half, Messi getting his first goal of the season, and what else but a free kick. He's an absolute set-piece specialist who finally looks fully fit. Good news for Barcelona. They badly missed him. As always, you can tell that Barca is a totally different team when they have their talisman. At the end of the game though, Barcelona losing a little bit their nerves. Araujo making his debut and getting a red card. And Dembele as well for protesting the decision and calling Mathieu Laos a bad referee, according to the newspapers. Getting sent off as well, something that I'm sure Valverde has to work on in the dressing room because they keep getting those silly cards. Piqué getting a yellow as well. He's going to miss the next La Liga game, but he will be back for the Clásico. But Dembele could be a big miss for that derby against Real Madrid. Atletico continued to struggle in front of goal after their third 0-0 game this season, this time away at Valladolid. To be honest, it was a really boring game. Atletico did try to change things around after they couldn't find the net against Real Madrid. They started with Costa and Morata up front and Joao Felix behind them, a bit more offensive on paper, but their striking woes continue. Simeone looks to be in transition with his system as well. To me, it looks like Costa and Morata are two very similar strikers, two number 9s that don't really complement each other. If anything, they're fighting for the same place, and I don't see them playing together in the same team. You could also say that Diego Costa is not the same striker as compared to about 2 or 3 years ago, where you can rely on him to be that focal point and score about 20 goals every season. The same could be said for Morata. He hasn't really had a consistent season where he's scoring goals before at Chelsea or Juventus or Real Madrid. It's starting to seem that they are badly missing Griezmann up front. But at least defensively, they are still solid despite all these new signings. A lot of credit should go to Valladolid as well, a very solid team. Goes to show LaLiga this season is going to be really, really tight. Espanyol's manager Eric Gallego was fired, and just hours after, the Catalonian team found his replacement in Pablo Machin, who is going back to Catalonia after he had a lot of success with Girona 2 years ago, bringing them up into La Liga, then going over to Sevilla, where things didn't really work out for him. But he is a great manager, and I think Espanyol will be a good place for him. There's not much expectation. I could foresee this happening. They had a difficult start to the season with the Europa League campaign as well. They don't have the squad to compete on both fronts, especially after getting rid of some of their best players in Borja Iglesias and Mario Hermoso. It is a bit of a paradox because a lot of mid-table teams go for that Europa League allure, that European football, but then when they get there, they're not ready to make the next step. And then it really affects their summer preparation. As we know, Espanyol had to play a qualifying round for the Europa League that disrupted their preseason. And of course, it's affecting their La Liga performances. They are in the relegation zone at the moment. Let's see if Pablo Machin is going to turn things around there. Speaking of coaches that are under pressure, Mauricio Pellegrino at Leganés, after another loss at home, this time to Levante, and things are not looking great. That's 8 games now that Leganés not even hasn't picked up a win, but has lost 4 games at home. A place where they used to pick up points last season. I really do hope that Mauricio Pellegrino manages to bounce back. The good thing is that, as I said, La Liga is very competitive this season, and just a few wins, a few points on the board are going to take Leganés out of that relegation zone. But at this point, it does look bad. Elsewhere, we had Getafe pulling off a complete comeback against informed Real Sociedad away. 2-1 the final score after Diego Llorente got the red card in the second half, and he completely changed the game. Getafe coming back and scoring 2 goals to win the game. Jaime Mata and Maximovic with the goals, and Bordalas' team is making a recovery after their shaky start to the season. Betis struggling to win at home again. After 1-1, the shining light for them, Loren Moron, with his 6th goal in La Liga. He had 8 for the whole of last season, and now after 8 La Liga games, he already has 6. Amazing for the Spaniard, but more is expected from their summer signing, Borja Iglesias. He only has 1 goal in La Liga, and he should start firing soon if Betis are to get a European spot. Eibar continue their good form after 2 wins now, getting a draw at a difficult place at the Benito Villamarin in Seville. A turnaround for Mendilibar and his team. The other 2 newly promoted teams, Mallorca and Osasuna, with home wins. Really, really impressive start for the 3 teams that were part of the Segunda last season. As you know, this weekend there is an international break, so unfortunately there's no La Liga action. But stay on this channel because I'm going to be picking my best 11 after the first 8 rounds of La Liga. Who are the best 11 players according to you? Leave them in the comments below and stay tuned. Bye bye from Madrid.